to grey, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking now. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking now. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another round of the Vertex Stock Car Cup. Welcome to 2 rounds, in fact. We're here for the first ever doubleheader in the championship's very short history. The first of which tonight will be at Indianapolis, and in a format that we've not really seen much on the iRacing platform before, we'll be doing 2 different circuits in one evening. It's bound to be an amazing night of racing, and with me in the box tonight is the fantastic Chris Dawes. Chris, welcome, mate.
Good evening, sir. We were getting a slight break up there, but I could just about hear Dalek Chaz then in the background. I think the links are getting excited as well, aren't they? I mean, double header. Wow, this is. I thought that I was reading things when I saw that, and I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing, amazing fun. We have 2 very different circuits as well. Me being silly me, set the events up thinking, oh, we're doing the Indianapolis road course. We're not. We're doing the oval, so we've got an oval race to start with, or a square as a lot of them call it. And then we have the unbelievably wonderful Charlotte Roval afterwards as well. A very tight and twisty circuit, plenty of concrete walls for these guys to smack into, which I'm hoping they don't. Just waiting to see here. All the cars have disappeared on my screen, but everything seems to be in order. We've got lone qualifying going on in just a moment then, and we will actually go and have a quick look at what is cracking then. So we've got Ben Kriener just coming out. This is Jack Mace in the very bright and beautiful livery. We had an incredible first round of the season at Kansas last week. Apologies again for my internet. I know there are a couple of issues with it tonight, everybody. It's very unstable, as we all know and love it. Guillaume Hesno took his first win in the championship last week, and what a race it was for him to get there, Chris. I mean, he really worked hard in trying to keep up with the guys at the front, and eventually managed to get there, didn't he?
He did. I mean, it was just a brutal fight all the way through, and he was at the pointy end from the get-go. But it was really down to the decision on whether to go in for new tyres. The tyres will have been really screaming for a break by the time we got towards the end. The safety came out, and it was kind of, I don't know, I'm going to guess it probably was about a 50-50 split of those that dived into the pits to change their tyres. And Guillaume didn't, and he stayed out with Alex. Alex had a little technical issue with his throttle, I think it was, from memory. And Guillaume was like, fine, I'm having that. He took it, but he then had to take another restart and keep Alex behind him from that one. And we know how good Alex is at the restarts. He did it. He did what he needed to do, didn't he?
Yeah, it certainly was trial and tribulation throughout the race. You know, he tried to make his way up gradually. We're just on board with him now, and you can see one of the new features, as everyone may know. iRacing put out a lovely update for us yesterday, the Season 3 build, and there is so much involved in it that it's absolutely cracking. One of the main things that was put in there is the camera shake feature, which you will now see on board with Guillaume Hesno's car as it moves around.
Mean that's not your internet?
No, it's not actually, unbelievably, yeah. It's for once not my internet that is the issue, although you say that and it's just gone orange in the bottom corner where it tells me the status of it. I will apologise in advance for everybody. It's been fine all day, and now as soon as I stream, you know, it hates me. Guillaume Hesno, though, is now 5th at the moment on the left-hand side. We'll show you the gaps as well so you can see the difference between these boys. Alex Sedgwick not quite top, but Aaron Smith, who has been a real revelation this season. He's come alive since that event at Eldora, hasn't he, Chris? He's really turned it around.
He is. I mean, we thought he was going to be at the pointy end. He's a monster at the restarts, isn't he? And he didn't really get it his own way at the last round, sadly, did he? But he was always there, ready to get involved, and I think, you know, he's making sure that he's going to start at the pointy end again.
Yeah, definitely. And around here, a lot of that was very sideways. A lot of the circuit is very straight. You know, you've got a lot of sort of concentration needed for the corners. With there only being 4 of them, and they are all quite similar, it's going to be the straight bits that are the telling point for a lot of these guys, because they're going to need to maximise the slipstream, if I can put my teeth back in, as best they can. And I think there's going to be a lot of mind games going on this evening in terms of what these guys do. We're just looking at Alistair Topley at the moment for Rogue Motorsport. He is in 10th position now as Ben Creaner goes 8th. Jamie Jakins out there once again in the number 3. He is in 14th position at the moment. And Freinzehner, as we were told to say it, is once again out there. He's got a bit of a different livery on his car as well today, which is nice to see. We have a couple of the guys as well in a few different liveries each week, which Chris is going to absolutely hate. But in NASCAR, it's part of the whole appeal of it. We've got Jason Glenn out in this wonderful new livery today. He was in the red and white livery last week, which apparently wasn't working, and that was the wrong livery. So now he has the right one, but I don't see a number on the side of it, and we had issues with that before, so he's going to be kicking himself. Here is Adrian Burks in the 72, or there was Adrian Burks in the 72, as qualifying actually finishes, and we will get given our grid for the first race of 2 tonight. So Aaron Smith puts it on pole then from Alex Sedgwick, with Connor Mills and Billy Fletcher making up row 2. Then we have Freinzehner and Brian Crowles on row 3 ahead of Guillaume Hesno, a Kansas winner, and Adrian Burks in 8th. Then it's Ben Creaner and Jack Mace on a very interesting 5th row. Alistair Topley just ahead of James Harvey in the number 40. Then we have Jonathan Hill in 84 alongside Jamie Jakins on the 7th row of the grid. Mikey Doble is a newcomer to the championship tonight. He's going to be starting 15th with Yuri Ishmael. We saw Yuri at the Brands Hatch round in season 1. Then we have Jason Glenn in the 55 alongside Jeff Hooper in number 79 on the 9th row of the grid, with George Tolsma and Justin Nair rounding out the top 20. Then we have Nicholas Yarrington, friend of Billy Fletcher's, in 21st. And then it's Justin Bailey 22nd, and Sean Stacey in, to be fair, what has actually become one of my favourite liveries on the grid. I was looking at it in the screenshots that I was doing the other day, and let me tell you, it's a ruddy good looking car. I just thought it was black when we saw it last week with just his number on it. I'll just try and find him now. I think he's just at the bottom of the timing screen. Oh, he's not showing us in the race at the moment. He's not got in the car, unfortunately, but it's got this beautiful sort of like Northern Lights sort of aurora pattern coming up from the bottom of it in all purple, and it just looks stunning. But we've got a lot of good looking cars out there though, to be honest, haven't we? So if we were going to pick a favourite livery, it'd be hard to do.
It would, yeah. Sorry, I was just quickly noting down the starting grid on my paper so I can refer to it later. I'm acting as though it would mean anything because they're back and forth, aren't they? And they've kind of had the riot act rated them red for tonight, haven't they? So whether those paint jobs will last very long, we'll wait and see. And if they do incur damage, it does affect their steering and handling of that car, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and straight line speed is something that's very, very key around here. So if they lose any of that, if there's just a tyre scrubbing, it'll be a nightmare. So fingers crossed that they don't have to deal with that. But we'll shut the music up and we'll let the cars do the talking, as Aaron Smith is going to lead us away for 25 laps here of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then second race of the evening, round 3 of the championship, will come to you from Charlotte Roval. But for now, it's time to turn left. In round 2 of the championship, the safety car pulls in aggressively. Mustangs don't go around corners, so it's incredibly unrealistic. But here comes Aaron Smith then. When's he going to put his foot down? There he goes. You see the front of the car lift off the ground and they're away, and look at them all pouring down the straight. Beautiful to see, and Alex has stuck with him and done a good job of it. A lot of the guys going to the bottom line. That's Brian Crowles coming to the inside. Just have a little look back, see if we have any shenanigans going on. Everyone seems to have got away with it and done well. So Aaron Smith then, with Cedric around the outside of him. Clean start so far, Chris, and it looks like our reigning champion Connor Mills has been hung out to dry here with Billy Fletcher.
He has, although he's coming back again, hasn't it? We need to see how this is going to play out in terms of high line, low line. Oh, and he's now snapped himself in front of Billy Fletcher, the black car with the bright orange flashes on it. And they're going line astern for the top 4 at the moment, but I don't know how long that will last.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see him stick to that all the way. Oh, Kreener's around and Hesno. Hill is involved as well, and Yuri Ishmael, and we've got our first yellow. What caused that one? Oh, the 42 involved heavily there as well. That's the newcomer, Nicholas Yarrington. Justin Naya turns Ben Kreener over on his roof. What happened there, boys? It was involving Ben Kreener. Oh, Kreener just came over on Hesno. It had to be Kreener, didn't it? He was getting some stick in the chat last week. Him and James. Oh, look at that! And Naya gets into Kreener. Kreener up in the air. Quite a horrific hit there. Kreener and Harvey carrying the Black Lives Matter livery as well. Both of those guys involved in that one, and that's a very bent and broken machine. I mean, look at the crabbing on Yarrington's car. That is not behaving itself, is it?
It certainly shows, as I sort of said earlier, that it does have an effect on the livery. Not on the livery, it certainly does on the livery, but on the handling. And you suddenly see go into the pit stop and the bodywork pops back out again. And it all depends on how bad that damage is as to how long their pit stop takes as well, doesn't it?
In this case, they get fast repairs, so it just instantly fixes.
Is it?
In a lot of other series, though, you are right, it is a case of however bad it is. I mean, I've done endurance races before where we got very unfortunate at the bus stop chicane at Daytona, where one of our guys put our Ferrari backwards into the wall. It was a tiny hit, but there was a little glitch in the game, or sim as people call it. And because it's rear-engined, the engine got locked in the wall, and it counted it as destroying the engine, so we had to go in and sit through an hour and 50 minutes of repairs, as Connor Mills there tries to feint to the inside. Interesting point about Connor Mills as well today. He's usually number 7 in the championship, but you'll see on the left-hand side and on the side of his car, he's actually adorning the number 1 now to sort of show off the fact that he is the reigning champion of the Vertex Stock Car Cup, and I like that. I mean, what's your take on that, Chris? I mean, I know in a lot of
100%.
motorsports, like, people don't always carry it. Like, if you look at Valentino Rossi, Lewis Hamilton, for example, they don't go for the number 1 when they've won the championship. Obviously, they'd prefer to stick to their own number. But I think carrying the 1, it has that prestige about it, doesn't it? It says, I'm the one not to be messed with for the coming season.
Absolutely. And, you know, you're going to pick up new fans every year, people dipping in, dipping out, and it just makes sure that they are aware that's the car that won the championship last year, and they're just going to pay attention to it.
I like you, because that's the exact thing, I think. Because in the British Touring Car Championship, they used to do it a lot as well. You'd see, like, most of the grid from the previous season would all have single-digit numbers because they'd just carry their previous season's finishing position.
Yeah,
no one would do it. I think did
F1 back in the day.
Exactly, yeah. And I think the only person, I think this is a fact, but don't hold me to this, but I think Sebastian Vettel is the only driver in Formula 1 since drivers got their own custom numbers that chose to run the number 1 after he won the championship. I think, because he ran it in 2015 and the numbers got brought in 2014. So I think that's correct, but don't hold me to that. Someone can go and find out, I'm sure.
I'll just leave you to your anorak, mate. That's fine.
Here's Mikey Doble in another one of my favourite numbers. He used to run the number 22 in a very distinct sort of two-tone blue livery. Interesting little fact, the 2 cars that are at the bottom of your timing screen there are completely out of the race. They've not taken part, which means that the only 2 cars, again, that are actually where they started are our top 2. Aaron Smith and Alex Cedric. You can see some of the guys there pretending to come in. Oh, you're going to pit, I'm going to pit. It doesn't work, trust me. I've seen it happen once in a very fun race that I did a while ago, but I've never seen it happen in a serious scenario. Freinzane has had a bit of a poor start here. He's lost 3 positions from the start. Jack Mace getting through. He's gained 3 as well. Adrian Burks has gained 2, so not the sort of start we expected to see from Marcel, but do you reckon he's going to do all right to claw his way back through?
Well, I was about to say, absolutely, of course he will. We saw some phenomenal racing from him at the last race, but of course this is shorter, isn't it? It's a 25-lap race. It's the first of the double header, and it's kind of almost like 2 sprint races, really. So that does kind of stack against him. However, 25 laps might not sound a lot. It's a long lap, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
so
even
there's
in
an awful lot you can do.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's one of those circuits and disciplines where you're always eyeing up a move. It's not like, oh, I'll just stick behind him for this half of the lap and then have a go next time we get to that hairpin. It's every single corner is an overtaking opportunity. Every single straight is a chance to slipstream the car in front. So you've always got to be thinking, and that's one of the things that people really don't understand about oval racing a lot of the time. I've got a massive amount of respect for it because there's always something going on. In circuit racing, yeah, it's not just turning left, I get that. But you can sort of expect the guy behind you to just hold back a bit or try and plan his move a bit more. In this, people don't care. They just go for it and make a move every single corner. Every single yard is an overtaking opportunity. And I think that's what adds the excitement to it, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And just looking at some of the text on Facebook, Joel V, can you tell me the next week's lottery numbers? Because he was halfway through saying about Krina potentially having a moment, and he got halfway through the sentence as then Krina went up in the air. So I want you to predict my lottery numbers, please, Joel. But it's good to see Student Motorsport as well. JP's there, and we're about to get going again.
Here we go then. It's down to Aaron Smith. We know he's good at these restarts, and it's gradual this time, you know. He doesn't really fling the car backwards, but he's got away from Alex Cedric a little bit. Connor Mills and Billy Fletcher going with him. Billy started third on the grid, but look at Brian Crowell's coming through down the inside in the very patriotic livery of the Brax Racing machine. And through he goes up into fourth place, and it's a good start for him. George Tolsma dropped down the timing screen a little bit there, but that was just a little bit of a blip. Ben Kriener on the inside line now, down the inside of Jeff Hooper. He's also going to try and go through past Mikey Doble in the 22. So it'll be him making his way back through. Same with Yuri Ishmael as well. James Harvey just at the back of this train, unfortunately, for Student Motorsport. There's a bit of a scrape on the wall there for Yarrington and Doble, so it's like the new guys don't quite know where the right-hand side of the car is. But they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. We've got Adrian Burks just watching this battle in front of him now between Billy Fletcher and Brian Crowell, and he's going to try and make the most of this slipstream, but it's easier said than done around here, isn't it?
It certainly appears it. I mean, it looks to me as though Burks has decided that Billy Fletcher is the one that's going to punch the hole. Sorry, Brian Krause is the one that's going to punch the hole, the red, white and blue livery car on the outside, but he's now decided that wasn't enough of a hole that was being punched, so he's dropped to the inside to try and follow the black car there of Billy Fletcher. I know it's black and orange, but from following behind, it just looks like black, doesn't it, that 48 car? He's trying to pick and choose which one is going to give him the biggest drag through. Now he's trying to go for the slingshot up the inside of Krause. Is he going to be able to do it? Billy Fletcher was the first target. I keep getting those two mixed up, don't I? But 72, Adrian Burks, who of course got the third place finish, didn't he, the last round? And he's got his eyes set on another podium at least, hasn't he? Oh yeah, he wants to push forward and get that. He's been a very, very good driver to watch in terms of, I'd say that, and he hits the wall there. Same with Alistair Topley just in the background. Hesno dives out of the way and he goes, I don't really want the Sparks, boys, you can keep them. Brian Siner's coming up the inside now as well. He wants this. He's thinking, okay, if you're going to wash off your speed, I'll jump forward and go through. Nearly a bit of contact. I think there might have been a tiny touch there. Nothing too major though, but now Hesno's through as well. And this is just a case of opportunism from these guys. As soon as there's one tiny little error or tiny little mistake, they take it. And before we know it, Alex Cedric's actually taken the race lead here, so we'll have a quick look back at that. He's been lining this up for a little while, hasn't he? Just patiently been sat there, and it's the slingshot up to the inside as they get towards the bend. He looks like he's almost got that sign sealed and delivered before they even start turning left. That was nice and early done, which means he got a cracking run through the previous bend, didn't he? He certainly did, and to be fair, it was good of Smith not to make it difficult for him, because he knows that if they can work together, they can gradually start to pull away even more from Connor Mills. This is Jamie Jakins in 13th place. He's had Ben Kriener just go past him. Next target for Ben Kriener is Jason Glenn, who's gained 6 positions at the moment. It must be that new livery. I tell you what, he's doing a good job of it. He's actually on the back of Jack Mace now, just on his inside, giving him all the room in the world. But he's actually still got the ideal line through there, which is nice. I'm sure he'll take that any day of the week. Jack Mace slots in behind, trying to maybe get a cutback, but there's a little bit of damage on the front right of Mace's car, so maybe that might be hurting him a bit. Yeah, because that certainly was almost sort of on a parallel with Burks, where he had the speed scrubbed off, easy for me to say, from just having a little love tap with the wall around the bend, and we saw how much that cost him for, probably the rest of that lap. Kriener's also got past Mace there as well, so he's trying to recover now from the moment earlier on. What does that put him up to? 11th place now. Wow, it looks loose out there, doesn't it? Yeah, it certainly does. He's absolutely slapped the wall there. That was a real big hit. And he's lost the place because of it. Lost 2 places as the guys surround him either side. We've got a good little scrap going on back here, actually, between Jonathan Hill, Jeff Hooper and Nicholas Yarrington, or Nicky Yarrington, as he's called on Facebook from what I saw before.
It does look like these are loose though, doesn't it? I mean, they're 90-degree corners around here, so you do have to sort of get on and off the lock a bit sort of in a shorter space of time than going around the usual sort of super speedway or something. But whether these guys just aren't used to coming off the lock so quickly, I'm not sure. But the cars do look a little bit out of shape. We've got Doble coming through as well there, just down the inside of Jonathan Hill in the number 22. We've got Yuri Ishmael coming in the pits, unfortunately, though. I'm not quite sure what's happened to him.
And that's about the third or fourth time he's been in, I think, as well,
Yeah.
sadly. But I was about to say, the interesting thing, if it's representative when I jumped on a sim of this as well, is that actually, although it looks on the map that every corner's the same, they're not. And there was one that I was coming into that I had to slow up an awful lot more than the far end. So it's a big challenge if that is representative. Of course, that's the nearest I've got to go around Indianapolis Super Speedway.
Same here, don't worry.
So, it's a bit of blind faith. But at the moment, look at this. Freinzenner in that sixth position, being absolutely monstered by Guillaume Hesno. Hesno's looking towards the inside. Has he done enough here? It doesn't look like it just yet. And he needs to make sure that he doesn't scrub off the speed, because is that Burks that's just behind him, isn't it, in the 72 car, trying to follow him here. But Hesno, it's not the first move, is it necessarily? You've got to be patient and just sit there and go for it again. Believe what you've done. And Burks actually is now the one that's going to take advantage of Freinzenner being sort of compromised through the last couple of bends.
Yeah, it's all about making the move at the right time. That's the thing. You can run away with it or be in front for the whole thing, and then it comes to the last lap, and all it takes is for someone to just take advantage of the slipstream and try and just pop by. I've just had a bit of a move around in the background as well. Alistair Topley's just been overtaken by Jason Glenn, going down the first straight. And now it looks like as well, Jason's got some right good speed here. I tell you what, that livery has done him some good. He's gained 8 places. If you look on the left-hand side of your screen, everyone, you will see the drops and gains. Like you see there, 9th position, Jason Glenn, 8 places. Ryan Crowles has gained 2 to get up into 4th place. He's got Billy Fletcher behind him at the moment. Connor Mills is sort of on his own at the moment in 3rd place, just chilling away. He hasn't had a race win since this championship started, but yet he's the champion. But ahead of him, these guys.
That's why he's just sat there quietly minding his own business. He's got the grandstand seat. Smith just tapped the wall by the looks of it there as he went to line up ready for the left-hand sweep. And interestingly, he obviously got that just about right, because that's only cost him at most a car's length really there. Oh, and Alex sort of washed out a little bit there, which suddenly means that Smith is able to close back in on him. Is he close enough to do the slingshot? It looks like he is. He's going to show his nose up the inside, and at the moment he's got far enough. Is he going to brave it out? Is it going to happen now, or is it a couple of laps before we do it? They were flip-flopping on the screen there between each other, but at the moment, oh no, and it's done it. Smith goes through. Fantastic. So it started off with Smith actually just tapping the wall and slowing himself down, but then Alex just washed out the rear end, didn't he?
Yeah, it just shows you how easy it is to lose that momentum. Yeah, they are all over the place. You can see Smith coming right down now, just so he can sort of use the lock to his advantage as he gets off the corner. We've got Adrian Burks battling with Guillaume Hesno in the background down the straight. Got some awesome stuff from these guys at the moment. Hesno scraping the wall as well, but I mean, as we've just seen from our new race leader Aaron Smith, it doesn't deter you from getting a good slipstream out of turn 2. I'm really liking the use of the verb flip-flopping though. That's definitely on my radar from now on. We've actually still got them close together at the front though. Alex is pushing him now.
Yes, back to what we had earlier. Oh, and that he's just sort of showing his nose towards the inside. I think that was just a sort of a psych up, and then he remembered they don't have mirrors anyway or anything that works particularly. So it's a good try though, Alex, but he's trying desperately to find a way through. And I think that really showed what you said a minute ago, Chaz, is that it's about getting the timing right of the move, because he obviously went to have a look for it and then thought better of it and tucked himself back into the slipstream.
Yeah, that's it. You can very easily go for a move, but sort of ruin your own run or compromise your own line a bit too much. If that person is willing to defend it hard enough, you can sort of screw it over for the pair of you in one go. It's very easy to do. Mikey Doble just popped out in the background there to make a run. He's side by side with Jeff Hooper. This is the battle for 17th and 18th. Down the inside into turn 1 goes Mikey, and he is through. And just behind there, Jonathan Hill. Sorry, that's not Jonathan Hill, that's James Harvey coming through try and make it back past these guys. He's a lap down at the moment, unfortunately, is James. So he may not get too involved in this fight. Just ahead, Jack Mace has got the 42 of Nick Yarrington all over him. And I tell you what, it's a great example, this, of the awesome racing we get in this championship. There's just battles everywhere, isn't there?
Absolutely there is. I mean, this is one of those ones that looks incredibly challenging. I mean, you touched on it earlier, is the fact that it's probably not the moves that you're making right now that are going to make too much of the difference necessarily, unless it's about catching the group ahead of you. But it means you just got to be patient, and you've got to trust in the momentum that you can build up, and then find the gap to take advantage of the momentum. Look at the car in front. Look, right there. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Hesno taking advantage of... who was that? That was Fletcher, wasn't it?
Yeah, Billy got an absolute tank slapper on there. Let's just have another look at it.
Did well to hold it, though, didn't he, in reality?
Oh, he did. Well, I noticed as soon as we went on board, the back end came out. You can just see it going there. He saves it, and it just washes into the wall. And it's a proper slap and big scrape down the side. But, again, just shows how tough these... Xfinity cars are, and it's not really lost him too much. And
yet, other than the fact that, of course, he was all over the back of Burks, wasn't he, in the red and white 72 car, and not only has he lost a place, but Burks is sat there going, happy days, I'm out of here, boys. I'm going to try and close in on Brian Krause, although Krause seems to have checked out and disappeared up a long way away, and is desperately trying to make it not so lonely for Connor Mills.
Yeah, he's checked his baggage in, and he's off, and he's completely away. I hope he's social distancing on the flight. But Frenzane is coming down the inside now of Fletcher, and I'm wondering whether that's actually damaged the car. It's all so close. Billy squeezes him to the inside. He says, you're only going to have all the room you need, mate. Nothing else. No excess baggage on that one. You can't go over the weight limit. But just behind him, though, Jason Glenn, he's thinking, oh, go on then, boys. Wow, he really gets out of that one early, though. That was quite extreme, almost. But look at these pairs side by side around here, not giving each other an inch. I love it. What fantastic door-to-door racing.
And it looks like Freinzen has actually added some colour to his livery, hasn't he? It's very similar, but he's added a bit of grey, although I'm assuming I'm interpreting that correct, with every now and again I go blocky, but he's sort of tweaked that. But he's still sat there in that 7th place. I mean, he's not going to be too happy after a 4th place in the last race, is he? But at least he's still well and truly within that top 10, and we've seen how easy it is for a tiny little mistake to happen, and all it needs is for a potential another caution to come out, although we've been going for a good old chunk of time. I've just touched wood in case you asked, so I'm not doing the commentator's curse there, but at the moment it's really about the top 2 having a great battle, 3rd and 4th on their own, and then it's actually Hesno's managed to get out on his own as well, hasn't he? From all of this, to be fair, he's broken away from them as well. Yeah, he's sat there in no man's land as it stands, but that means he can now focus on his own lines and possibly reel in the red and white 72 car of Adrian Burks. Both of those, of course, remember, they were 1st and 3rd respectively in the last race, so they're going to be wanting to do something. In fact, Burks has done a great job, closed in on the red, white and blue number 48 car of Brian Krause. That's an impressive close-up by Burks there. And he's still going. Look at him now. He's still closing in on him quite dramatically now. And I thought that Burks was going to take advantage of... I'm looking at this, actually, Chaz, and I'm wondering, the closer they get, it seems to unsettle them even more. And Burks has got a good run there. And Brian Krause got very out of shape on the exit of the corner there. And has that compromised him too much? Yes, it has. Up goes Burks, up into 4th place.
Beautifully judged, to be fair. He saw that Krause was having a bit of a moment. I mean, he gave him all the room just in case that the car did have a bit of a slide and come back down. And unfortunately, it's just that little...
whether Krause is running loose now, because he was a long way ahead of Burks, and then we just got excited that Burks had closed into him, and it didn't take long for him to actually make the move, because we saw that Krause was looking rather wayward with the rear end. Are we allowed to say that this time of night? I don't know.
Maybe we just scared him. Got Jamie Jenkins coming in the pits. Something has happened here. There's Jamie. Oh, he's really gone into the wall. That looks like it's going wide, or it's got a meatball flag or something. Let's have a look. I think he's just going to drag it in because he's had some sort of handling issue. I'm not quite sure there. There he is, still in the pits. At the front, though, it's these boys absolutely hanging it out. We've got 6 laps to go after this one. And I mean, look at the back end on that. I mean, Alex is almost drifting this thing around there. Look at that. It's just absolutely brilliant.
And he's been doing that for what, the last sort of 10, 15 laps, because that's what cost him the lead, actually, wasn't it? That was where we saw that Smith was able to take advantage after his own little wall slap. But it seems to be working for Cedric. Look at it. He's got a great run from high to low down there. Not quite able to do anything because Smith's too wily for that, isn't he? In his Bumblebee livery number 70 car there. And he just shut that door. And managed to camp up NASCAR. How do you love that? And made sure that Cedric could get through.
Well, we've actually had JR Sim Racing commenting saying, am I from Yorkshire because of my accent? But that sounded more Yorkshire than I have for the whole thing, so we'll go with that. Jason Glenn and Billy Fletcher are at it again here, side by side. The Lux Sim 24 Esports branding getting all of the airtime. Rob's going to absolutely love that as they go down the straight. Jason on the inside then, and...
That Fletcher's car is bad since that hit on the wall, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It just shows you how it can affect not just the handling, but the straight line performance as well. Bit of a slide there on the inside from Jason Glenn as well. And we go on to lap 21 and 25. And I'll tell you what, this race has flown by. Oh, Billy's in the wall again. Get it off there, Sunshine. Manages to get it back in the middle of the circuit, but Jason Glenn has gained that place and will now hold on to it. It is actually our two race leaders that are the closest on track. We'll bring in the ever lovely chopper cam so we can have a look from above. Look at them as well. One thing I've noticed from these NASCARs is the body is actually not sat quite straight on the car a lot of the time in these things. They are also like on all sorts of angles to the left slightly just to help the handling in any way possible. But it makes them look a bit more exaggerated when they're sideways. And I tell you what, I'm all for it because it looks brilliant, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if they know they're turning left, they basically have the car turning left before you start. That's the whole idea, isn't it? And it makes sense. But again, look at that. What a great shot just to show the wiggle of Alex there, and he is Lord of the Dance tonight, the way he's shaking his tail feathers every time he comes off the bend. But it doesn't compromise him too much. It did compromise him enough earlier when we saw Smith take the lead, but look at that, he's been able to just reel him in again. A big waggle there as he comes off the bend and onto the straight, but still Smith is doing enough. How is he withstanding this pressure lap after lap after lap? I'm exhausted just watching.
It's just amazing, isn't it? Absolutely awesome performance. And this is the thing, I think that Eldora meeting has really installed some confidence in Aaron Smith, and it's great to watch. Really is. He's just so on it in this car. And it's great for Alex as well. I mean, Alex won every oval race we had last season, and I know that he'll be absolutely loving the fight. He told me last week he doesn't like losing because he finished second right at the death last week, but yeah, he'll be loving this fight.
Still
especially
leading the championship though, isn't he, I see?
Oh yeah, he probably will.
With the extra points for fastest laps and qualifying and leading the most laps and everything, so he's still got to be happy enough with that.
Oh,
he's
definitely
not got it his way this time though, has he? I'd imagine that Smith has led the most number of laps in this one. But still, Cedric trying desperately
we've got a yellow.
To do so. Oh, have we?
Yes,
wow,
and we have... Oh, okay then.
Oh, my word.
George Tolsma, what have you done there? What has happened there, George?
Alley-oop. Someone obviously had a lovely beer in the stands there, and he fancied to neck a bit of that one.
He's got
Goodness
Ben Kriener
me.
in front of him. This is a recipe for disaster, isn't it? I'm joking. Oh, Ben's lit it up, hit the wall. George has just carried on about his business, and then he's gonna go flying off the wall. Yep, that's a huge
Goodness
hit.
me. Innocent bystander really there, wasn't he? Sadly.
Let's have a look because I'm not sure. Let's just, where is he? Here he is. So Ben's losing it and losing it and losing it. He stays flat, and you can hear it from the revs. Yeah, you don't want to hit. Well, yeah. Just for anyone that doesn't know, Chris can't hear the noises because I'm streaming it directly to him without sound.
And he rubs it in whenever he can.
Yeah, it just sounded like he stayed flat, and in that situation, it's not the thing to do. I mean, he may well not have done. Fair enough if he didn't, but I mean, from the revs.
Saying that, I've learnt how to NASCAR race from Days of Thunder, and that's what they tell you to do. Aim for the car.
Yeah, that's it. Aim for the car. Foot down.
And he did, and then he went for the pit wall as well for good measure.
It was a nice little stunt, though. I've got my arms in the air here, holding up a big number 10 board for him. Execution was brilliant, but that also does a bit of a favour here for Alex Cedric. It gives him a bit of a break for a moment to think, right, how do I get past this guy in the Wasp, the Waspy Smith? And Connor Mills, of course, don't forget, He's just behind these guys, and he's been in his own sort of free space in third place for most of this race. And I am not a poet, and I do not know it, but he's just got this extra little opportunity now to close up and just see what he can do at the end. You know, he's got to go for it. He's not got a win yet since this championship started, and he needs one because he owes me one. I've told him since Zolder last season that he owes me a win. He managed to get the championship, but he says that there's no better feeling than winning a race. And are we okay then, everybody? And look at that.
Wow.
Did he do it? Is that who I think it was doing that? Is it Jamie Jenkins has stayed out? Oh no, sorry, it's Jason Glenn. Jason Glenn.
Wow. I'm intrigued. Colour me intrigued, barman.
Oh, it was Jamie Jenkins, but he's a lap down at the moment.
Yeah, so Glenn is going to be the lead car, the blue one back there, isn't it? That he's in effect leading this race. Jason Nye just behind him. And Nicky Yarrington as well. Nicholas Yarrington sat there in third as it stands at the moment.
Well, this is on its head now. Let's have a look how these guys get off pit lane.
Surely they've not going to have enough laps.
Connor's
got a cracker.
Connor Mills. I do not have a clue, and I do not know if he's had all of his tyres replaced. Maybe he's just gone right side only. I'm not sure if you can do that, but if you can, that might be an absolute genius stroke from Connor Mills, your reigning champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. But I'm still not convinced that there's enough of this race to really get the rub of this. But what do we know? It was the lead two that really called it. And I say the lead two because if Alex was there kind of going, no, I don't see what Smith's doing here, he'd have stayed out. But they certainly called it. I was about to make the call that my wild card for this was going to be Adrian Burks, but he finds himself down in 8th place now, which is 4th of the pitters, isn't it? Because you've got Connor Mills, Aaron Smith, Alex Sedgwick, Adrian Burks, Brian Zenner just behind him. He stopped. Guillaume Hesner, I think he stopped as well.
Yeah.
But it's really put the cat amongst the pigeons now, hasn't it? Goodness me. Glenn, you'd called that he was actually doing a great job working his way through it, you know, at the tail end of that race already as it was, but I should imagine he's getting a nosebleed at the moment, being this high.
I bet he's loving it. Justin Nyer's up there as well. He's gained 18 places, so is Nick Yarrington, and Mikey Doble's gained 11, so amazing stuff from these guys. He did actually tell me, Jason did message me in the week, he said that I should give Sophia a shout out on stream. So Sophia, if you're watching, I hope you're having a fantastic evening and enjoying the race, especially now that Jason's leading the way. He said that she watches all the Vertex broadcasts and absolutely loves our commentary, so thumbs up to you as well, Sophia. Thank you very much, and hopefully Jason can bring home the win for you. But we've got these guys now going too wide here, and whether that's just in having a bit of a laugh or whether that's actually, yeah, they are going too wide. So it's the first too wide restart of the evening, and it's going to hopefully be the last, touch wood. Look at them all filter around though, look.
Oh, who's that just gone to the infield?
I think that's Yuri Ishmael, yeah, it's Yuri in the 18. Okay.
Yeah, that car's not had the rub of the green tonight at all, has it?
No, it's Ford EcoBoost livery on it, but unfortunately he's not managed to test the efficiency of it. However, Jason Glenn is going to test the efficiency of his right rear tyre in a few minutes, and we're all going to be able to get a good idea of how it goes. Let me tell you that for free. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Chris. Who do you reckon?
Do you know what? I think that Glenn might be able to do this. I mean, we're calling it without knowing how bad their tyres are, but I just think he can do it. I just can't see that there's enough laps left for these guys behind on the fresh rubber. But let's live and learn.
I'm thinking Smith. Keep your eye on Aaron Smith. Third row on the outside, black and yellow, number 70. He has got 4 fresh tyres on that thing. I'm not sure if Connor has. I'm not sure if he's got 2. But this is going to be the last couple of laps and of the first of 2 races tonight. Don't forget, everybody, don't go anywhere after this one. We have another race for you from the Charlotte Roval, which is round 3 of the championship. Well, here we go then. Hold on to your hats, because we are going to have an absolute corker of a final few laps. The safety car veers off to the side, nearly rolls over because it's a Mustang. Jason Glenn puts his foot down, gets away. Nick Yarrington's all over the place, but he's gone with him. He's lit up the rears. Justin Nyer's held up that outside line. And here we go then. Connor Mills is on the inside. He's got some freebies from that. He's taking Alex Sedgwick with him. And Aaron Smith has absolutely lost out there. I think he's made contact with Adrian Burks. No, he hasn't. Yes, there is contact. That is the 22, and that's Mikey Doble, and that's a yellow flag. And Smith is well and truly out of the shout of taking this race win. So there's my pick out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest and say the reason why I wasn't running for him is I was just looking at the crowd all around him, that it just felt too much like a lottery for any of these guys. Connor Mills did well to get up to third, Cedric up to fifth place there. But, you know, there's got to be an element of luck there. If you consider that Aaron Smith was in the middle there, and it was then sort of Mickey Doble that just got wild on those tyres that are cream crackered now. Look, you see the rear end just went, and then suddenly, of course, Smith is stuck in the middle on this restart. He's got nowhere to go.
I think Smith hit him, in all honesty. I think genuinely it was...
I didn't think so.
I
didn't think so. I thought there was enough gap there.
Let's have a look. No, he definitely squeezed him. Definitely went in. Smith could have backed out a little bit. And, I'll tell you what, someone who got lucky in that then was Jonathan Hill. Let's just have a look at this again from Jonathan's point of view, because this is a scary old ride. You don't even see the contact happening, and then suddenly there's smoke, and then suddenly there's a car coming backwards. Tiny bit of a tap, and wow.
Wow. I'm just going to go and get some new underwear. Back in a minute.
That could have definitely been a big hit there for him. Look at these guys, absolutely flooring.
I just noticed someone else there that means he's really lost out, and we saw him have the damage earlier. Billy Fletcher in 88 is right down in 13th place there, just ahead of Hill that we were having a look at then. That is not where we'd expect to see Billy Fletcher, but if he's gone into the pits, I wonder whether he's managed to get that damage repaired that could see him make up a handful of places before we get to the checker. Yeah,
that's a very good point. We'll have a look on the right-hand side of the car now as he goes through. He probably would have got the fast repair in the pits, so yeah, it's all well and good now in that car. So hopefully he can make up the places, like you say, towards the end. The guys are just catching up with the safety car, I believe. Yeah, it's just in front of Jason Glenn, Nick Yarrington as well. These guys just want to crack on with it now. They're not messing about. They're thinking, right, let's go.
Well, you've got to say, haven't you, as well, what a fantastic restart by Jason Glenn. He was cleared off into the distance, leaving basically Yarrington and everyone else backwards to get involved in the mayhem, which, of course, did include Jason Nyer, 77, in the yellow and red car that kind of went backwards a little bit. But the restart by our sort of pole sitter here, I mean, look, off he goes, job done. It's nice and steady at the moment. Wallop, there he goes. He's found the turbo boost button. Off he goes. Nyer's hung out to dry. Up the inside goes the yellow car of Yarrington. Good job up into second place by him then. And you can see Connor Mills has also, as soon as Nyer's been left out, and there's the incident behind. But Alex Cedric was, thankfully for him, ahead of all of that. So he was able to just stay glued to the back of Connor Mills. I think that was deliberate by Cedric. Look, he's picked his partner there, hasn't he, to just glue himself to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Him and Connor get on very, very well. And they have a lot of trust in each other when they're on circuit. They know exactly what the other one wants to do. They've got really similar mindsets in terms of when you need to work together, when you need to go for a move and try and overtake the guy in front, or when you just don't sort of compromise both of your races. So we're going to be coming up to a little bit more than 25 laps for this one, but it was to be expected. We're going to try and get a green-white checker out of this. But what a great race we've had so far. And once again, Jason Glenn's going to have to lead these guys away. Now, I'm going to keep my eye on Nick Yarrington, because if we've got another lap yet to have a look at this. So if we just look back at Nick Yarrington here, watch him light up the rears on this thing. Watch the yellow car on the left. As soon as he gets his foot down, it wiggles around all over the place. It just steps out a little bit there, and then ready, it straightens up, and then there it goes again. So he's really got some shredded rears on that car. And I think we're going to see maybe a bit of a struggle on the outside line here for him. And don't forget that Connor Mills is now going to be on the inside with Jason Glenn. So he's looking more and more likely
on fresh rubber.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got he's going to have Justin Nyer with him as well. Alex Cedric is also going to be on the inside. So we've got two very, very good opportunism sort of based drivers there that will not blink at the opportunity. They might have this in the bag, but whether Jason Glenn lets them anywhere near that front spot is up to him. And well, I think the pressure's going to be mounting at this point, don't you?
I'm intrigued, actually, to wonder whether Alex was able to call it really quickly there, that if by not getting past Justin Nyer as he was sort of threatening to do, so he's 2 places behind Mills, which means they now get to go line astern again. It was almost like a masterstroke. Surely he didn't do that deliberate. The only reason I raise it is that on the replay, it looked like Alex checked out with just as the yellows were about to come out. I think he saw the incident behind him, and just stepped off the gas a little bit. So he's going to go into this restart, although they're not going 2x2 by the looks of it this time, are they? He would have been line astern with Connor Mills. Maybe I'm praising him too much there. I don't know. Maybe romantic notion, eh?
It's all good. It's all good. Well, that may hand it to Jason Glenn a little bit more then. If they're not going 2x2 now, then they have to potentially work a little bit harder for this. We'll keep our eye on it. But once again, everybody, make sure you sat down, because this is going to be... I nearly wasn't when they had that incident before. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. There goes the Mustang again. And here we go then. There goes the other Mustang. Jason Glenn gets it away. Yarrington wiggles around a little bit. Connor Mills is chasing him. Look at Sedgwick just behind, poking out behind. I'll get my words out one day. Justin Nyer in there as well. Looks like there's a big change around here as well. Look at all these boys shimmying about. Billy Fletcher's on the inside of Jonathan Hill. Just in front, that was Ben Kriener and Brian Crowell side by side. Ben hanging it around the outside. Oh, Jack Mace is in the wall. Jonathan Hill's off as well. And that's a huge hit for Billy Fletcher. I think we had James Harvey off as well. And another yellow flag, guys. And that's...
Do you know what the interesting thing there is that I was about to say is that we've got a lot of cars. Oh, and that's some big engine trouble for Jack Mace there. He's going to be heading towards the pits with that one. But I was going to say is that it looked like a lot of cars on ragged rubber, but they're the ones that have been in.
Yeah, exactly. They're really, really lighting up the rears a lot, aren't they? Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Let's go in the wonderful slow-mo. So I think it is between these guys
Aaron
here.
Just behind Demler as well.
Yeah, Aaron Smith's in there with Jamie Jenkins around the outside. And then in front of that is Jonathan Hill and Billy Fletcher who come together. And yeah, look, Jamie's going straight for that rear corner on Jack's car. Hits the back of him. They go into the wall. Just in front, Billy Fletcher washes out wide into Jonathan Hill. Jack Mace got absolutely battered into there. Luckily, just misses Aaron Smith.
Aaron Smith went straight through the middle of both incidents.
Yeah, he did.
Brilliant.
Jonathan Hill on the left there. That's a massive hit, and then he's going to come back through. That's Mikey Doble going through, thinking, I don't want to hit the 84. He does hit him, and somehow gets away with it. Jonathan Hill then flies up towards Yuri Ishmael, who also just gets away with it. Wow, we got some very lucky guys in that incident, but unfortunately, some very unlucky ones as well. And Jonathan Hill back in the pits. But here is your still race leader, Jason Glenn, but now...
It's
Mills.
Brutal. And now he's Connor Mills has just, by safety car, worked his way closer and closer to the top. And poor old Jason Glenn's got to be livid because, again, he got a fantastic start, didn't he? Look at the daylight between him and the chasing car of Yarrington. But Connor Mills, he was able to take advantage of that straight away, as you'd expect on the fresh rubber, as did Sedgwick behind him. And he'll be gutted because he was already closing in onto the back of Yarrington, but not able to take advantage of the big hits there. Goodness gracious me. Billy Fletcher has just had a torrid time today, hasn't he, in that number 88 car, sadly. And again there, it looked like he was washing out, so the handling hasn't much improved from that pit stop by the looks of it. But they kind of were warned, weren't they, on the restarts not to light up the rears because, as we've seen, it's very easy to do on the restarts.
Yeah, definitely. And it all started with that sort of second incident with Jamie Jenkins just losing the rear going into turn one. And then as soon as he pitched it inwards, once he was still on the power, it just turned Jack Mace. Both cars go in the opposite direction, and then again they bounce off the wall. But Aaron Smith, once again, really, really did just have a bit of a miracle going through there. And he's still got Brian Crowell in front of him. He was also not at the best of races tonight. A bit of a rough ride for him. But, yeah, Nick Yarrington's still up there in third place, but I think Connor Mills and Alex Sedgwick, they're both, if we have two wide start again, Connor Mills and Alex Sedgwick are going to have to try and make that outside line work for them. It's going to be interesting to see whether they do. We've got Martin Mollett asking the very important question. Another caution.
Fuel.
Has everyone got fuel? Yeah.
What do you reckon? I don't know the answer to that one, to be honest with you.
I tell you what, one person that will be able to tell us is Alex Sedgwick. Alex, we've just had the subject of fuel brought up. What are you thinking?
Oh, we've got loads. Send us onto the Roval now. I've got more than enough to keep going.
Well, there's your answer, ladies and gents. What do you reckon the approach is going to be then on this one, Alex? Do you reckon we'll get another yellow flag, or do you reckon the boys can keep it clean and you'll get these guys picked off?
We live in hope because obviously on the new tyres it meant that I lost out on track position, but you know, I've got quite a big advantage in corner speed. At the end of the first run we were like 2 seconds a lap down, so you know, if we do get through, I think there's you know, at least 2 spaces to be gained. It depends how cleanly Connor gets through them as well, if I can get to him. But we'll see. I mean, it's our last attempt to green white checker, so you know, it's now or never really. Which, you know, we'll see if we get through turn 1 and 2, and we'll go from there really. But it should be fun.
Awesome. Well, best of luck, mate. We're looking forward to it, and we'll speak to you later on.
Sure.
And I noticed that Jack Mason, Jamie Jenkins are out of this race. We're not surprised. Well, Tolsman's actually still going, isn't he? Despite being up there having a chat to the spectators earlier, he's got his car back down and repaired, and he's out there. But Mason Jenkins, they're not able to get the damage repaired by the looks of that.
No, it's the miracles of sim racing, everybody. Looks like George has actually joined Stage 1 racing as well. He did have a pink car previously, but it looks like he's now teammates with Justin Nair in the very similar liveries. I've seen those guys in a couple of leagues and series before, so it's good to see that you can literally visually see that someone has joined a team. I quite like that about sim racing. It can happen very quickly and you get a livery sorted, and just as you've seen, everybody, you can very quickly repair a car and get it back out on track when it's been in the grandstands. So it's quite a good effort, to be honest. But as Alex said, last attempt at a green white checker now, so they have to get it done. This isn't an interview with Jason Glenn, by the way, everybody. If you look in the bottom left, there it goes. So
he's got to do it again, hasn't he? But now it's like the wolves behind him, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and they're thirsty for blood now. Connor Mills.
They've lost some of the advantages of the fresh rubber because, you know, they've been hot, cool. So, you know, they're not going to be quite as advantageous as they were. And it looks to me as though Glenn's trying to just psych them out a little bit there already, isn't he? You could see that he's just picked it up and he's had to slow it back again on the rear of the safety car. The mind games. Yeah. Amazing.
It's one of my favourite things about motorsport, mind games. You really have to get into your competitor's head. And to be able to do it in sim racing is even better than doing it in real life racing, in my mind, because yeah, it's still a physical thing because you are still putting in the effort and so on, but to do it through a PC and a monitor at someone else and then they get it at their end when you're not actually in the same sort of 10 metres, it's amazing. But we're going single file then. Jason Glenn is going to lead the field away. Nice smooth restart. Look at Sedgwick tucked in behind the car of Nicholas Yarrington. It looks like Jeff Hooper and Ben Kriener are side by side as well. Jeff popped out there. Kriener's going to come down to the inside. This is going to be an incident if I've ever seen one. Kriener right behind Topley. I did the opposite jinx there and we didn't get an incident out of these boys, so they've kept it clean just somehow. Cars around. Hooper's sideways. Now it's 3 wide through there. We've got Krauls and Aaron Smith around the outside. Look at Aaron hanging it out around there. Go on. And he gets the place from it as well. Brilliant stuff.
And Connor Mills has taken the lead at the sharp end. We knew that there was probably only a matter of time, sadly, and I say sadly for Jason Glenn because he's been doing such a good job at the pointy end. And Sedgwick now is trying to hunt him down as well. I mean, it's just unfortunate. He's there on the tattered rubber and he's not able to defend there. Through goes Sedgwick. Now, what is Sedgwick going to be able to do with Connor Mills? They're both on fresh rubber. Surely there's too much daylight there. Is he still going to be hold on to a podium for Glenn? Do you know what? I think he could do. Burks is lurking in the background in the red car, though. Yeah,
Burks is going to be after Yarrington here, side by side. Yarrington almost in the wall. Just behind, we've got Aaron Smith and Ben Kriener in the very short wheelbase version of the Toyota Camry. And somehow that car is still going around. Look at Aaron hanging it around the outside. He's so much performance out of this car with the fresh rubber. Kriener and Krauls nearly got together there as well. But Connor Mills has now got Sedgwick right behind him. I can see the gap going down. Sedgwick gives him a bump. He dents the rear of the car. He's going, come on, Connor, get on with it, mate. We've got fresh rubber together.
And Burks is trying to take third as well behind them. So it's the Noah's Ark 2x2. These great fights at the front here. And look at Burks trying to just bump draft through, as is Sedgwick with Connor Mills. Connor Mills is saying, not a chance, shutting that door again, and surely he's got enough of her on there. There's nowhere for Sedgwick to go. He's going to come through. What about side by side for the third place? Burks has got it. He's taken that, and sad news for Glenn there. He's down to 4th place. Wow, what an incredible finish that was. And Hesno nearly got himself up into 4th, possibly even 3rd, but he sits with 5th, only just. What an incredible finish.
That was amazing stuff. Connor Mills finally gets that first win in the championship. I'm so pleased for him, and just because of the fact I told him that he owed me one. But finally, our reigning champion actually has a race win to his name, everybody. Alex Sedgwick pushed him right to the end, but I think that was the difference. You know, I think Mills did take 2 tyres and not 4, and I think in the end we saw that difference come true, but Adrian Burke's really, really good stuff from him. He's had a great start to his championship, 3rd place in that one. Jason Glenn did manage to hold on to 4th, and 4 places gained is an absolutely mega result. So there are your race results then from race 1 of the evening. Round 2 of the championship. Don't forget we have another race after this. So we have Connor Mills taking the win from Alex Sedgwick, and Adrian Burke's finishing 3rd. Jason Glenn 4th, just beating Guillaume Hesno across the line. Marcel Freinzehner, a good under-the-radar performance from him in 6th, with Alistair Topley 7th. Aaron Smith recovered to 8th. Nicholas Yarrington 9th place on his debut, good start for him. Brian Crowles rounds out your 10. Then we have Ben Kriener with Jeff Hooper and Billy Fletcher behind him. Billy managed to get 13th in the end after that pretty large incident, so a good recovery from him. Mikey Doble 14th on his debut with Yuri Ishmael in 18th. Then we have James Harvey. Yuri Ishmael in 15th. He's car 18, isn't he? James Harvey in 16th place with Justin Nair 17th, and George Tolsma in 18th position. And then we have Jamie Jakins, Jack Mace, Jonathan Hill, Justin Bailey and Sean Stacey that did not complete the race. And we have our race winner doing burnouts and donuts down the straight. Connor Mills, very, very deserving race winner. Like I said, reigning champion. And, yep, stops it on the brakes, disappears, as is the beautiful nature of sim racing. So, this has been the first of 2 races tonight, everybody. What we're going to do is go to a bit of a break for you, and we'll bring you the second race in about 10-15 minutes' time while they go and set that one up. We're going to be going to Charlotte Roval for the next round of the championship, and I cannot wait. So, join me and Chris in about 10 minutes' time. We'll be back with you for round 3 of the championship. Yep, sorry about that noise, everybody. It turns out I have to do an update or 2 for Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we're just getting into the session, and we will have the second race of the night. But what a first race to see, hey? That was absolutely awesome, wasn't it? Really hope you enjoyed that, everybody. We've got plenty more where that came from coming up in just a few minutes in the Vertex Stock Car Cup. Don't go away.
Those nights when we were younger, we would never sleep. So let's forget about tomorrow and live for tonight while we're free.
And I tell you what we're going to do, actually. We are, just during the break, we're going to bring in our race 1 winner, Connor Mills. Connor, you've finally done it, mate. You've got the championship under your belt, and now you've finally got that race win. How do you feel, mate?
Yeah, finally, Jesus. I'll be honest with you, that last lap, I don't think my heart has ever beaten so fast. Like even in real racing, I've never been that nervous. No, it feels great. It feels great. I feel like we've got that one out of the way now. Got the first one done, which is always the hardest, and let's just hope we keep up the momentum. Another one will be nice, 2 out of 2 tonight. Be over the moon with that.
Definitely. Well, just talk to me about that pit stop, because we noticed you'd gone quicker. I've not really raced in the NASCAR machinery that much, but is it possible to take 2 tyres? Is that what you did?
Yeah. So I took, the guys, Aaron and Alex took 4, and I took 2, just the outside rights.
I thought so. See, I got that right. I'm quite happy with myself about that.
Yeah, which isn't ideal, but I knew from like the race that I just don't have the race pace. I'm about a 10th off them 2 guys. They just dropped me a 10th every lap.
Yeah.
So I knew the only way of having any chance of winning it is just to take 2, or take 4 if they took 2. So I was just going to do the opposite one to them, and that was the only way I was going to win it. But it paid off.
Yeah,
it was hard, but it paid off.
Oh, definitely. It did look like a lot of hard work, especially the sort of last 2 laps, just getting it absolutely nailed. And then Alex really putting pressure on. I mean, he put a couple of dents in the back of your car as well right at the end of the race. But it was amazing to watch. How was it knowing that he was closing so much, though, with just a couple of corners left?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it went green, and then I was like, right, I just need to keep one car in between me and Alex. I knew he had 4 tyres. I knew he'd be quicker. I just need to keep that gap, get a big enough gap for the last lap, and then hope he doesn't catch me. But he did catch me coming down that back straight, and then I was like, right, okay, well, let's just defend for my life. And it's Alex's fault, really. He keeps defending like that on me when I try and take the win off him. He's taught me too well from doing it to me. So yeah, no, it worked. It's funny coming in tonight. I didn't have big hopes for the oval, because, as you know, the tracks where you go left and right are my speciality. So I was really hoping for a win at Charlotte, but I'm over the moon with that. Let's crack on and see if we can replicate it, but maybe replicate it by a bit more than half a car length. It would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll leave you back to it, mate. We're just going to get into the second session now, but if you can get another one, then that'll be absolutely mega. But enjoy it, mate.
I'll try. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Speak to you soon. Bye.
Connor Mills there, your race 1 winner then. We're just getting everything set up ready for the session, and then we'll watch the guys in qualifying for the second race of the night. Just 2 more minutes. I'll be back with you.